Pretty good. Pretty busy week here. So I've been trying to relax whenever I can.
Yeah, I bet. Uh, Related, I'm guessing, to the update we just published to letter lists,
Partially
or
that, partially just like a bunch of other life stuff going on this week. So um, we're going to like a music festival this weekend. That's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day. So I'm like mentally preparing for just that much time with other people.
nice. It's the big festival.
Yeah, I think it's like uh, it's called a Kilby Court. It's like one of the nights is Death Cab for Cutie and Postal Service. One night's LCD Sound System and Vampire
Okay,
Weekend.
wow,
It's
wow, okay,
like four stages going on at once, like that kind of big event.
okay, yeah, sounds big, and some pretty cool bands over there. Okay, people are saying they can't get in the live. Let's see. Uh, Maybe I shared the wrong link. It seems to be the same one. What's going on here?
It probably
Let's see.
didn't let them in until we started, unless they,
Okay, maybe.
yeah. Oh, wait, it says live stream locked. Huh. Why?
Hmm.
Okay,
Let's see. There's no one else on the feed. Let's get the people in.
let's see. We're debugging this on the fly here.
Yeah.
Um, there's got to be some option that's changed.
Yeah, we did the same thing. What is it with technology? Sometimes it just changes out of the blue.
Yeah, let me. Like I see the setting for like a general security. It says like public. Anyone with the invite link can enter, and it says it's private, and I can't change it to public. So we might have to stop recording and change it to
Okay,
public. So
okay.
I'll
Yeah,
stop.
let's do that. How about you?
Pretty good. I uh, I'm like mentally preparing myself for going to a music festival this weekend and just being around people for 3 days straight. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's the big one.
Yeah, it's called a Kilby Court, and it's like one day is Death Cab for Cutie, and another day is like LCD Sound System and Vampire Weekend. Yeah, it's I think there's like four stages going on at once. We've never been there before, so I'm cautiously excited, but I also know it's just gonna be like a sea of people.
Yeah, yeah, it usually is. Is it near Salt Lake City or is it like in another place?
Yeah, it's a public transit bus right away at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
So
That
pretty
sounds
close.
cool. Wow, okay. I have
have
never been to, yeah, a festival in the past maybe 3 years.
hmm, have you been to other any that are like that kind of massive event?
Oh yeah, there were some around London, mostly electronic music festival. With like, I
Hmm,
mean, the last one I went to was like seven but smaller stages. I'm guessing this one, if it's like LCD sound system, that kept for kitty, it's gonna be the larger ones.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited about that. So, but yeah, I'm fully prepared to be exhausted.
Yeah, well, we are at a certain age where these things come with a toll. So
Yeah, it's been much easier to just like watch Eurovision from my bed. I mean,
yeah, Eurovision's great. I'm wondering, what was it this year? Did they have it this year or the one last year?
they yesterday was semifinals one. Tomorrow is semifinals two,
Oh, really?
and
Okay,
then
I have to look into that. Okay.
Saturday's the finale.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I have to check that out. The finals are usually okay. It's working now. Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, we sorted it out. Sorry about that, everyone. It was a glitch in the uh, podcast thing or something. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Well, over the
Cool.
weekend I had some Basque cheesecake. Did you ever have that?
No, how's that different from cheesecake that I'm familiar with?
Well, I think it's like the same, but it's a bit burnt on the outside and it doesn't have like that crunchy base. It's supposedly from the Basque region in Spain, and it's pretty good. I mean, I've been to this place. I traveled like 1 hour with my wife and my kid, and yeah, it was pretty nice. I'd recommend it. I see it like kind of big. If it hits the US, it kind of looks like a kind of thing that would go on Instagram, because you can like dip your spoon in it and it's all like kind of like a flan in the middle.
Okay,
So it's yeah.
interesting. I'll
Yeah.
yeah, if I see it on a menu, I'll have to order it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's pretty good. You won't be disappointed. I mean, if you like cheesecake,
Oh yeah,
you
I love cheesecake.
Okay, that's good.
There is a place where I grew up in Florida that did key lime cheesecake, like because key lime pie was a big thing in Florida. So combining those two is like this
Wow.
soury, like rich cheesecake. So good.
Yeah, instinctively, I mean, it sounds kind of nice. Over here, they're crazy about key lime pie as well. It's
Really?
yeah, yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, it's kind of like maybe it is the like biggest like dessert pie. Yeah. So I think I tried it once. Not my favorite. I like cheesecake way more, but key lime cheesecake. Yeah, that sounds like a concept.
Uh,
Yeah, that's great. And other than that, what have you been working on? We've released
um,
like the letter lists last week.
yeah, that was the big one. So yeah, between um, when I got back from Korea and like now or last Wednesday, we released the first round of letter lists, and I consider that like kind of the base step for being able to do more like bulk work on a server. It sounds like not very interesting from a user facing standpoint, but it allows for like so many cool features down the line. Um, but for now, it's mostly like when you see your library or a list, you're able to sort by lots of different things. You're able to view it in some other ways, and I guess most notably is that all of that's rendering like on the server and passing it down to the client instead of happening in the browser. So it seems a lot faster too, and so I'm excited about moving more in that direction of like rendering more on the server and doing less on the in the browser.
Yeah, it is like noticeably faster, especially when you view the table view on lists. So people who have huge lists of books, I've been noticing it on the list we have featured. They loads way faster. I was actually doing a video and I was surprised that it was almost instant. So yeah, that's working well. And this is like a change that's been like in the works for some times. And what's cool about it, I guess, is that it's also like big on the technical side, as like you explained, but it's also like from the usability perspective. I mean, some changes have been going on to lists. I guess everybody noticed, hopefully. If not, go to your lists and like check it out.
Yeah, I I think like all of the other things that this enables us to do down the line are like being able to filter a list. And when I say a list, I mean like any collection of books. Like that could be books by an author, it could be books in your library, books on a goal, a prompt, a list, someone else's library. Being able to filter those by basically any criteria you want, like by genre, by release date, by match percentage. All of that is part of like filtering. But there's also things like bulk edit mode, which becomes a possibility with that kind of setup, and other like user facing features like advanced goals. So imagine making a goal and basically setting a filter on what books constitute that goal. Like, you could say read 100 comics, or read 25 books by BIPOC authors. Both of those could be an advanced goal, and it's going to automatically like only pick those books that match that condition and put them in your goal.
Yeah, that sounds great. And it's kind of crazy because, you wouldn't think it's like so complicated to do this with an app. I'm guessing that's why. I mean, I think from my experience, most book apps, which are not hardcover, uh, usually after a degree of complexity, they kind of like break down. So I think that's been our like main thing, assuring like those features for people who have a lot of books in their lists and who want to do that uh, more complex stuff, not just track them like you track them in a spreadsheet. Uh, I think that's where it really makes a difference. So it's exciting because of what you can see now is the tip of the iceberg, but I guess there's like much more underneath. We'll just have to dig into.
Yeah, and I'm excited to chat about that today. Like earlier this week, I tried to like create a Figma doc with like all the things that we are we have talked about in some way, and kind of how they relate, which ones depend on each other. But that's like it's like years of work.
Yeah, which
So
is good. I mean,
yeah, so I think some prioritization is important for figuring out like which of these things do we really want to get done this year. Like, if we said, you know and even come kind of as important, which things do we intentionally not work on at all, so we can focus on the other things.
hmm. Yeah, people might remember that we had like even in the live we've built stuff which is like still built and is still like on the billboard of we have to get there. But it's crazy because sometimes you identify like steps in between, like we did with. I'm thinking about the reading journal and how you update it and how that will lead up to discussions and how so much better it will make discussions and how that's like kind of like a necessary stepping stone. So yeah, I guess this is
Yeah,
what we're gonna talk about today. And everyone, I was thinking we could like share the screen and go through all the priorities. And if anyone sees something, they're really passionate about, or they want to like comment on all the things we talk about, I mean, feel free to do that. Uh, Maybe we can watch that chart and go
yeah,
through it, show everyone also a glimpse of how we're working and how we're deciding what to build next.
yeah. And I was thinking one thing before that could be like a really quick discussion is kind of figuring out like what our priority as a company is this year. Like, I was thinking like we have a bunch of different priorities, and oftentimes we're like spinning plates. We're like, we're going to work a little bit on this, we're going
Oh,
to work a little bit on that.
love
Like
plates.
like for instance, one of our priorities is like um, reach like profitability as a company. That's both useful in that it means that no one has to continue providing revenue for the company to stay afloat, but it also gives our readers more kind of a it's a good sign to our readers that we're going to be sticking around.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, great idea. This is like I think it's also an important moment because I think we're seeing like the wave of apps that kind of appeared post the story graph, maybe in 2020, 2021, kind of like when we appeared. And I have a bunch of names, but I'm gonna not gonna mention them. They're like the other apps. Some of them, they either seem like they hit a dead end because of you know reasons or uh, maybe because of what we're also like facing this huge task and this kind of project that keeps on like giving the more you look into it. So yeah, I mean, on that topic, I think staying afloat and reaching like that ramen profitability will be like assurance to everyone involved that this isn't going anywhere. I mean, I think that and the open sourcing plans we have, those are two big reasons that are, uh, directed towards the goal of telling people we will. I mean, no matter what happens, hardcover is gonna be here, and yeah, we're not in danger of uh, not working on it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, given that you don't trust us, I mean, we can tell you lots of companies, never, nobody ever tells you like, uh, at some point in the future when our runway ends and we're out of funding, we're just going to call it quits and you're going to have to move your library elsewhere. But that happens.
Yeah.
Not that that's like anybody's fault, but
Yeah. It's part
yeah,
of,
I guess it's part
yeah.
of how things go. And I
Yeah.
guess decisions, yeah, the decisions we're like taking right now impact like the future of your library. So yeah, that's pretty important.
Yeah. So yeah, generating revenue is a big one. Um, are there any, what are some other like high level goals, if you have any that come to mind?
Well, the next one, it would be open sourcing the front end at least, so that you know it's also a way of people to contribute to what they want to see on hardcover. It also provides the transparency that companies need. I always like appreciate an open source company because they're saying, okay, uh, you can take a look at what we're doing with everything on the app. So uh, that's a pretty big one. And the next one, I guess, would be not so specific in the sense that it would tie into our mission. Are we a book tracker? Are we a place where people come to find new books? Are we a place which allows authors to push books to their readers? Are we a social network? Are we a place where you can discuss about books? Are we a place where you can host book clubs? Um, I guess that mission is becoming more and more like complex and comprehensive.
Hmm.
What do you think about that? What would you say are your feelings, in that regard?
Um, yeah, I think like as we're growing to support multiple personas, like right now our persona is readers. It's people who want to connect with other readers, track their library, find new books. And I feel like that's still kind of our core thing. And so if we want to move on to something else, I feel like this is the first step is getting that polished to the point where if we move on to something else for like a year, it can kind of maintain its own momentum.
Yeah, I'd be on
And
the same page.
so it's like, but how we define like it getting to that point is the hard part.
Yeah, uh, I'd see hardcover as a place which is all of those things because, for instance, now looking at the industry, we've began as a context talking to authors and seeing what their problems are and how we can intervene and where to intervene so that we make the most impact. and it's a very, end to end thing. I mean, authors start from an idea, they publish a book, they try to get it out there. That right now is very, very hard, and there's no one working on a solution to that. We're just like relying on Amazon, which is like the best place to do that fast, to publish a book fast and to get distribution. Other than that, not even the big platforms that we know, and some of which are our competitors, don't really like tackle that problem. Maybe because it's so like hard that it's untackleable, or it's like hard to crack it. But maybe there's like things that we can do in that process, because finding new books also means finding books that wouldn't like exist otherwise. So I guess now it's like finding already existing books, but in the future finding and facilitating the birth of books that wouldn't be here if it weren't for us, for hardcover. I think that's like one of the goals in my mind to reach.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
Um,
long term, but that's, I mean, right now Amazon is facilitating that, and there aren't like any other good places, to be honest, that facilitate that. There are other sites, of course, but none with that, uh, you know,
yeah.
ability to actually like help at that scale.
Do we want to jump into the priorities doc and
Yeah, let's
see where
jump
that
in the
goes?
priorities doc.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll share my screen here.
here we go.
Let's see. Able to see my screen?
Oh yeah, all good.
Cool. So yeah, these are broken up into kind of these four categories. Research, which is kind of like we know we want to do this, but we're gonna have to do a lot more research before we implement it. User-facing changes, these are kind of like product changes to hardcover. System-facing or more back-end changes, and this was kind of an optimistic look at what I thought we could do in 2024, but this kind of doesn't take into account that priority that we just talked about. So to be determined. So let's see, what would be a good place to start here? Just
Well, we can start with what is already live. I mean, we have in the upper left corner letter books. So right from that, we can do bulk edit and list filtering, which I guess are things that are coming up next, and they're pretty exciting.
yeah, and then yeah, list filtering enables advanced goals and smart lists, if which are kind of just ways of filtering a list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was the idea with smart lists? I know we talked about it, but yeah, maybe we can explain to everyone what,
I
how
I
me. Yeah.
I see it mostly as like imagine on your library page where it's like all currently reading read. I imagine like you create some filter, and then when you are done creating that filter, you save it, and then maybe the all link turns into a drop down, and under that all link there are the kind of your saved searches. So they're kind of like, oh, I often save for things on my want to read list with a genre of fantasy, so I have a quick access to that, and that's kind of a smart list.
Nice.
So it's a
Kind of like,
saved
yeah.
saved search.
Uh huh. Yeah. You create your own filters, right?
Right.
Nice. Okay, then we have save user journal events. This is for the reading journal. I think the reading journal is gonna be pretty big. I was like hoping we could work on that, like nail the design next. Um, Notes are gonna be the precursor to discussions, so making them in a way that's fun to use, I think will open up many other doors.
Yeah, getting like this advanced editor right, which we can use in journals, comments, discussions. That one's going to be a decent sized project with no payoff until we implement it somewhere.
Yeah,
But we'll probably implement it on reviews first and then everywhere else next.
yeah, but that's gonna be like very nice. I mean, maybe we can like work on designing it first, and by designing it, maybe we can like split it in parts, figure out what to build first and what to build next.
Yeah. I think I think also like um if we're if we're going for like profitability this year, I even think like some of these things like it's going to be really hard to almost like prioritize something like this over something that like if we unless we make it like a supporter feature or a not supporter feature. So I'm wondering like um are there things we want to start thinking about as being supporter features?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we can try, especially with the advanced things. I mean, for the supporter plan, I think right now we're at the point where it's worth redefining what it represents and uh, what you get for being a supporter. And we have some ideas i- in that area. I'm wondering, out of these, which ones would you think would be the most impactful for that? I mean, what could we make into a support feature that would make it like an instantaneous click for people? Like, okay, it's worth. It's so. I mean, it's worth it right now, if you ask me. But what would be out of these like the most
Hmm.
impulsively like attractive thing we could build that would convince people to become supporters?
um, I think a lot of these kinds of features are ones that wouldn't bring a new user and turn them into a supporter. They would bring kind of an existing user who already loves the site and maybe turn
Mm-hmm.
them into a supporter. So I feel like we probably need some things that are like targeted more towards new users and some things that are targeted more towards power users. Because I could see like bulk edit mode or something like that being kind of a potential like thing for power users, but for unless you're a power user on hardcover, you're probably never even going to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a like the things that were I was imagining for like people that first join are more like stats focused things. Like you've imported your library, you you go to your stats right away, and you see some really cool stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
you can do that today, and we do have separate stats that are pro or supporter and general, but that's something we haven't really revisited since like 2022.
Yeah. Stats is not on this list, is it? I mean,
It's not
I
right
didn't
now.
see it anywhere. Maybe it's worth putting it there because it's our main supporter feature. I mean, you get stats, and I was gonna um, make it more visually appealing, let's say, because
Yeah.
now, for instance, on mobile or the way you share stats, I think sharing stats would be like a neat way to advance because I really want to make it so that you're proud of sharing uh, a stat on hardcover because it looks so good. And we've been doing like a lot of things, for instance, for the year in books that are looking really good. And I guess we could take some of those things and put it into the stats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Like even making it that kind of like a paginated page makes it so much more interesting to browse. Like it's it's like you're browsing a presentation made just for you about your data rather than just
Yeah,
looking at a dashboard of data.
yeah, that's a very good observation. Like a presentation put together just for you is how it should feel like. It should feel like a present, you know. That's how I guess Spotify does the wrapped. That's how it's positioned. So I guess, yeah, we should definitely do the same thing. So let's add like, how should we name it? Stats, revamping stats, making stats like fetching, more fetching, making stats nicer,
Yeah.
uh, advanced stats. Okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah, I'll put that.
It also might be like a question of how we present it, I guess. Okay, yeah, all the way there.
Just keep it in the same area here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's perfect.
And
I was
and
also thinking of an easy win about the profile page because we haven't like revamped that in a while, and I think there are things we can do. We made the new book page, we made the new list page. I think just adapting the profile page and adding a couple of things to it to kind of like feel the same way like we described stats earlier, like a place you're like proud to share and you want people to see. I think now it's like borderline at that limit, but we can make it so that you really like love your hardcover profile and there's like really, you know, uh,
yeah, and
place, a really cool place that
maybe that's like
showcases your reading. Yeah.
maybe there's like a a special like special things that only that you see only if you're a supporter, like or that you can do to modify your profile page if you're a supporter.
Yeah, I think small stuff like even changing your cover, which you know we set by default based on your favorite genre. Even changing that would be like something like an example of a thing which would count for I guess many people, and we can do other things. I'm thinking about the dashboard that we're working on. The dashboard itself can be like a reason to um, become a supporter because you'll get more useful things in the dashboard if you're a
Yeah,
supporter.
add it here. And one of the potential things that it's not on here are um, supporter widgets, which are kind of just like you said, they're additional functionality on something we're already doing. So it's like everyone will get access to the dashboard, but we might have a couple specific things that are specific to supporters on there.
Yeah, this sounds great. I mean, maybe we could put it. I mean, this only doesn't like cover marketing priorities, right? Mm, thinking about the support plan and how we can make it better and more of an like more of a thing you'd go for without like thinking twice. Uh, I guess that could be a good next step apart from all the features we've got planned because we have a lot of features.
Yeah. And even like this idea of book vibes is a big supporter feature, which I think we'll talk more about in a future session because that's its own
Oh
big
yeah, we could
concept.
do. Yeah, maybe we can do next week about book vibes, and maybe we can even sketch some stuff. I began, the subgenre sketch. We can take that and yeah, see how it translates to the book vibes. But yeah, all of these. I mean, I guess for instance, the journals could be another place that. Uh, could be important, but I don't know how really. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, I think
you could do things, but there's a limit. I mean, the supporter features are really power reader tools that you usually can't find uh, on any other book network. That's how we're trying to build them. So they're really like they don't have like a match anywhere else in their complexity. Uh,
Yeah,
but
but we don't want them to be for features that like 99% of people want to use or like
exactly,
90%. So yeah,
yes,
they're very specific. So yeah, yeah, doing something like book journals, it wouldn't be like that's a supporter feature. It's more like if there was something that made sense to be only supporters, then potentially. But yeah,
yeah. I was thinking about what we could do inside the book journal for supporters, but I guess we'd have to, do another session about book journals or continue our work that we did, I think, a couple of lives ago for that editor to
yeah.
see.
I
Uh,
mean, that could be something like these syncs or something. But honestly, I wouldn't even want those to be supporters because those are just getting us more data from users and
yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I'm wondering, we've talked about finding your friends that read and inviting them on hardcover, or seeing if they are already on hardcover. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's like a good. I mean, part of the convincing people to become supporters is also related to how many people sign up for hardcover, because naturally, I mean, uh, there's gonna be a conversion rate. So out of 100 readers, maybe three, four, five will sign up as supporters. If it's five, I mean, that's great. If it's like four, that's great as well. If it's like zero, that's not, we gotta do something about it. But you gotta have those 100 users as well. I think now we're around that 2-3% conversion rate. So 2-3% of the people who sign up and use hardcover are supporters. Not like the overall. I'm not counting the users who just signed up and gave it a go and didn't come back, like the active users. I think we're around there, maybe even more, which is good. But I was thinking, if you were to invite your friends on hardcover, how would that look like? And I realize that many people right now, including some of you who might be watching, are using hardcover as a private thing, and they don't want to like have friends, and that's like I totally respect that, and we're building it so that that's like how you can use it. But one of our necessities to basically be able to offer you hardcover is to get as many readers on the app as possible. So if there was like a mechanism to invite some of your reader friends who might go like, oh, look, my friend whatever is reading this and they read this and I found this book in their library. um, if we kind of like pass that barrier, which encourages people to share it with their reader friends, I think that's going to be huge. But I'm not sure how we could actually do it. I mean, there are very few apps that actually like crack this. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts, Adam?
yeah. To me, like the farther along time goes, kind of the more useful this feature is. Like the more users we have, and the more we have like an easy way for people to get a huge instant impact when they join. So it's like I could see this being like more useful after we have things like these new profile pages or like something really exciting for them to see right when they join, uh, um,
Yeah,
as well as being able to connect their own um, Facebook and X or whatever and see their other people on hardcover. So that way they find their friends. Because right now, as a Mudkip in the chat pointed out, right now what we have is a referral code where you can link someone to hardcover, and when they join, um, we'll track that they referred you to hardcover. And then if you refer two people, you get a free month of being a supporter. But right now, that that's still kind of on the individual users, kind of hardcover readers, to do that on their own rather than this is more self discovery.
Yeah, exactly. We should talk about referral codes more though. For us, I mean, we're doing like a lot of stuff which is like not native to us for marketing, and we've learned a lot, and it's fun because we get to spend time with everyone, and we get to interact with such like uh okay, yeah, we should, yeah, we should make it more visible. Yeah, maybe that will solve a lot of things. If you copy like your link, I think it's in the footer now. We placed it in the footer, and you can copy your referral link, and in your profile settings, you can find uh, who you referred to, and you also get an incentive. You get a free month of Supporter when you invite two people who sign up. So.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a yeah, you can do that here. So like if you go to your account settings, you can go to refer a friend and then copy this URL, and it has like your referral link in the URL, and it'll show you all the people you've referred.
Yeah, and it's in the footer everywhere. So if you click on copy referral link, that's the same thing.
Exactly. So you can do that to generate a URL to any page on Hardcover, and on mobile, it's in the sidebar.
Yeah, you can just click
Oops.
copy link and it's your referral link.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should talk about that more. I mean, again, another thing which would skip all of this would be some kind of book influencer on TikTok before it gets banned to talk about hardcover. And we all know we had like an event that happened. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, where we got like a surge in users because let me get their name right. Where was it in Watch Channel? Haley Hughes. Yeah, they shared a video, and that's like another way to do it. It would be like nice to have more people featuring hardcover. Not sure how to do it. We've been trying it for like the past 2 3 years, and we still haven't have found a reliable way in terms of marketing. And I think right now we're at the point where there are lots of people with ideas on what we can do, but I think we mostly tried all of them. So I'm only down to the theory that we just need a person with more marketing. Uh, what's it called? That thing, talent.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I guess talent is the word. Uh, to just like sense it. I mean, we've done stuff, but it always feels like we're like slogging along, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's throwing stuff out there. So yeah,
Yeah.
talking about
I,
referral codes, we could do that more.
yeah. I think one thing that might be helpful with this list that I might try to do after this call is to kind of put some of these like in a spreadsheet with like different categories, like um, is this um, a supporter feature? Is this does this help users when they first join? Because right now we're losing a lot of users who join hardcover and then kind of don't stick around, and we're doing some investigation into that. And then other things are like this is a feature that goes deep instead, or this is a like for instance advanced goals or something like that. That's like a power user feature, and how we balance those with something like book journals, which is something that potentially everyone could use, or use custom cover for book. Those are things that almost everyone could use,
Hmm.
but they also are more work. So how we like prioritize those is going to be tricky.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and yeah, we should have the split. So I'm seeing like two things right now. So there's stuff we can do for people who haven't heard about hardcover and their like early hardcover experience. Like when you get to the site, I think there's like lots of things that we can do, just like refining the experience. And we haven't had time to that because we have a ton of, as you can see, a ton of other stuff, which is like exciting, unfortunately, to build. Um, and there's the updates that we have to keep a pace on for the people who are already signed up to hardcover. So I guess those are the two things, and I guess we should do them both uh, at this point. So maybe we should be like the next thing to build for people who are already on hardcover, like which is the most important thing that is impacting their hardcover experience right now, and the other part, for someone who hasn't heard about hardcover and like their early experience on hardcover, how do we improve that? Does that
Yeah.
sound right?
Yeah. One thing that I could see, one way that I could see us doing all that is maybe like between now and the end of June, for example, we try to kind of just like wrap up work in process, fix a bunch of bugs, get to a good place where on like July 1st, we can set a new like high level goal. And then everything we
Mm-hmm.
do for the next 3 months is around that high level goal. And that high level goal could be um, make it to profitability or something like that, or just um, or like improve the number of people that join and leave the platform, or something high level like that. And then all of the tasks we choose for the next quarter end up being around that, and that'll help inform like which ones of these we really prioritize during that time, because it might we might really want to work on book journals, but that might not align with our goal for that quarter, which is going to be going to be rough because there are things on
Yeah,
here
exactly.
I so want to do.
I know it would be great if we were like us multiplied by at least five to be able to like tackle this, because they're like more important. Like authors are important, we know what to do in that area. Reading journal, that's important. Discussions, they're like really important. I mean, we have some like so much data on them telling us that they're important, but also all the other like a couple of things. So yeah, that sounds like a good plan. I guess just fixing everything and then letting it settle. Maybe, I mean, usually it surfaces on its own. I guess the conclusion for everyone, wondering how things get prioritized for a startup like ours, they surface on their own. I think we've been in this like position like at least twice, or like maybe even more times this past 3 years. uh, and it always like the thing presented itself without us. We're just like doing the work, like putting it here. So yeah.
Yeah, like a dashboard is currently in process.
Yeah.
Fetch more data about newly added books. That one is currently in process. As part of some librarian fixes that I'm doing, I'm also working on that one. So I think this will also help with. Actually, I could probably put something from here all the way over to um, advanced stats, because
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
I see it as well. I'll have to clean that up. But yeah, I see that as like um, the better book data we have, the better your advanced stats are going to be.
Yeah.
um, I'm going to move.
Yeah,
So
this is good. I mean, we're halfway there. I mean, come to think of it, and I think the first like iterations. I mean, right now, if you go on hardcover and create an account, and your reader who has like been tracking their reading someplace else, you're gonna find features that might be worth for you going for the spoiler plan, which wasn't the case like 2 years ago, or I mean, 2 years ago we didn't have anything, or maybe even 1 year ago. I was just I saw someone commenting on Reddit on a post I did more than 1 year ago where we were saying, uh, yeah, and we're planning for cool things like having stats on your profile. And yeah, someone commented that they signed up then and they were glad that they
Mm.
stuck with us. If you're watching, thanks for that comment. It was really it was really nice to see that. But yeah, we didn't even have stats, so now we do have stats. And I think, yeah, just like refining them so they look and behave better, just like we did with lists, is gonna come a long way.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Someone in the chat was mentioning how our we have some like uh, descriptions in the app that are either missing or sometimes they don't have new lines in them. And that's one of the ones that I think, as part of this data fetching thing, I want to take a look at, because I think some of that's how we import the descriptions from other platforms, and some of it's how we display it, not adding like break lines for new lines. But yeah, I think that'll be an easy win as part of this update.
Yeah, book data is such a mess everywhere. I'm discovering. I mean, yeah. Jesus,
I
I mean,
the I'm really excited about the refactor that I'm working on for that right now. Actually, like one thing I've found as I've been working on it is that 25% of our external book mappings to other platforms haven't been loaded with data for one reason or another. So if we can fix that reason on why those aren't getting loaded, that increases our book data by 25% right there. And so it's things like that, plus some usability fixes, like when you create a new book on the platform or when we import a new book from a library, we're not going out and finding more information about that book if we didn't have the information to do that immediately. Like, for instance, if you import a book from Goodreads, we'll and we don't have any of that information in our database, we'll kind of just like create that book, and we'll set that we'll set the ID from that Goodreads book in our database so that the next person also associates with that same book. So that way, two people are pointing at the same book, but we're not going out to Goodreads and fetching data about the book.
yeah,
So it's
that
little
usually.
things like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's gonna be huge. It usually happens when you edit the book, right? Because whenever I'm editing a book, it just like solves itself, like mostly for the description, for the cover even. I'm mostly replacing covers with higher res ones. And whenever I find a book that has all the book data, Jesus, yeah. Some people have been sharing books in the Discord, and you can see like some librarian has been at work on that book. Whenever I see that, it's such like a breath of fresh air, and it feels so good to like
Yeah,
see a book with all the book info. Yeah,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
this is
That's
also
one
an
of those
advantage.
things where, yeah, I've tried to like run scripts to fetch those in the background, but there are so many like issues with our book data loader that we end up getting just a bunch of them fail, and then I get like 100 um, bug automatic emails that happen when code has an issue. So my hope from this fix is to fix that process so that we can like reliably get that data, and so that when you go to edit a book, it doesn't have that big wait time where it's loading the data. Have it already be loaded for every book.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. Yeah, I mean, we're making like such huge advances, and I'm glad that this combined with what librarians are doing. I mean, hopefully, we're gonna get for most like, let's say, the most popular books, really good book data, because this is a problem like everywhere. I
Yeah.
mean, if you go on Goodreads, if you go on Open Library, if you go on, it just is such a mess. And
And
yeah,
and I just remembered that one of the things that we're planning for the dashboard is potentially being able to add the stats widgets from the stats page to your dashboard. So maybe that's kind of a reason to bring up this advanced stats as kind of a higher
Oh
priority
yeah.
thing for
Mm-hmm.
more immediate work.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do some brainstorming because stats are something you can share as well. So let's brainstorm with the Discord community and see what everyone thinks, and maybe we'll get some ideas. And definitely, I mean, getting about the like actual stat widgets. I think we have like a good base. I'm wondering if there's anything that people would like to see. I haven't seen like much in other places, but I think just like making them more streamlined and looking better and you know actually making it so that they're easier to share. I think that's gonna be
Yeah. Yeah. We've
the
talked
thing.
about like being able to generate an image for them or things like that so that you could
Hmm.
like share a specific stat, or maybe that's like each stat has its own shareable URL page or something like that. Or
That'd be nice. That'd be like really nice, and we can just like put them on the stats page, but then you can go to stats slash your username slash stats slash that widget and just get that. I'm guessing we could do that, right?
yeah,
It would just be the like the component. Hmm.
yeah,
That'd be nice. That'd be nice for embedding as well, because we talked about embedding, like being able to grab a bunch of thing and just putting it on your book blog.
I know
That'd be nice.
one thing that someone brought up, which I haven't looked into how people do it because I don't use this feature of Instagram, but it's making it really easy to post something to a story. And then,
Yeah.
because right now, I guess the way to do it would be go to your stats page, take a screenshot, and then they have to crop that screenshot down to the part that they want to show and insert that into a story. But
Hmm.
we could potentially make it one click where it's like for each stat, click share on my story, and it just does all that for you.
Yeah, I know how to do that because I ran into like this exact same issue, and you can do it from the web, but you can do it on iOS, and I think there's a capacitor thing that we can use to like share
Mm,
natively on Instagram. We need to make like a Facebook app and have them approve it, and we go through all the like user permissions. But that would be, I mean, the next thing would be just to screenshot it, the easiest thing. This would be like screenshotting, like the simple thing, and this would be like registering an app for Facebook and allowing them like the user privileges, because that's the only way it can actually post the thing natively, and you can do it from web as far as I've researched it. And yeah, I did like it was for something that needed that, and the only way you could do it is build an iOS app to share it on iOS, and build an Android app to share it on Android.
mm-hmm. Well, this seems like this seems like a good kind of section of the app to really focus on to me. Like it's it's for one, it's kind of our trickle down to authors.
Yeah.
It looks at dashboard and book calendar, which were like two of the top things that people requested on our last survey. Um, it kind of makes way for some like data specific things like a missing data queue and a librarian queue, which are things we've talked about with our librarians to
Mm,
make it
yeah.
easier to find what books are in most need of updates. Um, and it's also on the track to open sourcing hardcover because we want one of the things that I see as like a selling point for when someone once we open source hardcover, a selling point for what someone could benefit from is um, create another dashboard widget. And like we could open that up to have anyone create new dashboard widgets, and then we would probably need to approve them and all that. But then they would get added to the app for anyone to use. So I see this as kind of an easy way for people to make contributions to hardcover without needing to create some whole new section of the site.
Yeah, that sounds great. Maybe put like a big circle in the background, like a really dim, so we know it's like the point of focus.
for
Just, yeah,
like
just
this area.
yeah,
Let's see.
just,
Yeah.
and I think with that, here we go. Yeah,
Let's see.
and maybe send it to the back. Can I do that?
Arrange. Let's see.
So we'll have the
Send.
focus area. See, 1 hour figuring out. Here we go. Figuring out our next area to focus on. Yeah, this is it. I mean, this is what
Yes.
we're focusing on next. The dashboard is gonna be like, well, let's see when we can put it live, but that's gonna be like really nice to see. And these are all things which are gonna make a difference like on what you see on hardcover, because I think we had like a period at the beginning of the year where it was just like stuff, infrastructure stuff, and now with leather lists, I'm really glad, there's like a big change. It feels fresh. The new navigation also feels fresh. That's like really really good. If we do the profile, that's gonna also feel fresh. If we do the stats, that's gonna be so, yeah.
Yeah.
uh, this is looking good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. I think it's a good amount of stuff focused on today.
Yeah.
I think that also, yeah, that really helps me like understand kind of how the things we're working on are related to each other, and it makes it seem less daunting when we can like take a group of features that are all somewhat tangentially related and
Yeah.
work on them. Yeah.
Yeah. It really is useful to have that area of focus, but see, this is how much work it takes. Well, it's 1 hour, but lots of other work in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. And if you have like any comments on what you saw and what we're building next, definitely like drop on Discord. And yeah, see you next
yeah.
week, I guess.
Yeah. Sounds good. Talk to you next week.
Yeah, talk to you next week. See
Bye.
ya. Bye.